Welcome to the greatest football game on the market today. How's it going, guys? My name is Agrippa Maxentius, and today I wanted to let you guys take a look at Legend Bowl. Let's face it, I nearly strangled the developer just to get a copy. That's how thirsty I was for a good sports game, and guys, this game delivers. I'm sure a lot of you have suffered from having to play EA games, Madden, and all sorts of different games that just don't really scratch that football itch, or if they do, it's at the cost of a lot of money, a lot of time, and a bunch of opening of card packs, which, let's face it, is just not very football-like. But right here, we've got a game that even Dick Buttkiss himself would approve of, and that's saying something, guys. In this incredible game, not only do we have a roundabout football game that reminds me of the classic Madden games from the 90s and the late 80s, but we have a game that is so moddable that there's currently an NFL mod, an NCAA mod, and of course you can customize your own teams. You can make your very own NFL league. In fact, channel administrator Dave Zizou is currently working on a 1945 league that I can't wait to check out, but don't get excited, there's only 8 teams in that league anyway. In any case, guys, I want to show you just what this game has to offer. Of course, you're probably salivating at the mouth already, but let's take a look at the actual gameplay. We've got fumbles, we've got touchdowns, interceptions, we've got running plays. Stats matter big time in this game, so you can have a team built around a runner, around a quarterback. Man, you just got to see it to believe it. Let's jump in, and we're going to be looking at it with the NFL mod. So again, when you purchase the game, you get just the generic teams, but you can get the NFL mod or the NCAA mod whenever you want and completely change your game experience. Well, let's see what the game has to offer here. As you can see, just like any football game, we get the intro of the teams, we get even an intro of all of the players, and I should mention that weather plays a big part of this game. So you could, of course, have a rainy day, you could have a snowy day, or a nice sunny day to actually play some football. Right now, we're just looking at a game between the 49ers and the Chiefs, just to give you guys an idea of what to expect when you start. And soon we'll get into some of the controls, some of the approaches to gameplay, but right now I just want you guys to get a look at just how detailed this game is. And the kickoff begins. So of course you get the standard line-to-line focus that you do see in the older football games. You absolutely are going to have the camera zoom in on your player if you're receiving, and vice versa if you are on the defensive. But I just love this intro. You've also got the in-between aspects of plays that you see in a lot of like the new EA games. So for instance, the guys huddling together to talk, all of this different stuff. And another thing is you could just go ahead and skip it. So you could actually watch the game play through as you would see it on television, or just go ahead and say, you know what, I don't want to see that, let's get to the next play. Now, in a second here, we're going to take a look at the playbooks. As you can imagine, each team is going to have their own playbook, their own set of plays. And that's another thing in this game, is you can absolutely pick a team with specific skill and really try and make it your team. So for instance, you can have a team with a great running back, terrible receivers, and a terrible quarterback, and try to build the entire team around that. Now let's get into some actual gameplay here. So just like any standard football game, guys, we've got the coin toss, of course, and I believe, just get a feeling that we will be receiving. As you can see, I am a big believer in heads in terms of flipping a coin. What can I say? And guess what, guys? Half of the time, I'm right. It's amazing. Incredible. Just incredible. Here we go, guys. So, of course, we start off. Now, there are all sorts of buttons for jukes. There are buttons for faster running, for boosts, things like that, in case anybody's wondering. There's also a button for dives. So if you're trying to just get across that line, you can use the dive. Now, the first time I saw this game, I was thinking to myself, this is all 2D. There's no way that this can be that intricate. Guys, it's that intricate. Each and every player has his own stats. That includes strength, speed, agility, all sorts of different things that are going to determine how your team actually plays on the line. Much like a real football game, you can hit the I button and you can audible out into other plays. I mean, it's just so deep for a game like this. Now we're going to try to do a run play right here. And as you can see, much like a real football game, it's not just going to be an easy run. They're going to have defenders, etc. And depending on the team you take, you could take a team with a really great passer or a really great runner. That's going to have to be kind of your strength. Now I'm going to try to go for a pass just so you guys see how that happens. But, of course, there are interceptions, there are blitzes, and as you can see, they can even, of course, not catch the ball, have an incomplete pass. It's just so similar to a real game. And as I said before, You can let this play out on its own, or you can sort of speed it up, which I tend to do. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, game. Got us a nice first down there. And just like a real football game, you're going to get all sorts of information here on the players, just like as if you were watching this on television. So you can see here that he actually managed to make a reception, Dawson Knox, and over the course of the season, you know, obviously your players are going to evolve with the rest of the teams and just with, you know, the games of the season overall. So it might start out with not such a great quarterback, but if you hang in there and keep on training him, eventually you're going to be rewarded for it, that's for sure. Had to show you guys a nice little play there, and got us a touchdown. And the one thing, or really the only criticism I would have in this game, is that if you're using a keyboard like I am, field goals are going to be a little more challenging. Most of the kicks in this game, in fact, some of the line play, and we're going to take a look at that after, does focus on rapid button pressing. So definitely not something I'm usually a fan of. In this case, it kind of works. So we're going to go ahead and do one here. Now here you really just need to time your field goal properly. But on the defensive, part of being on the line there is basically smashing a button into such a way that you can push the other linebackers out of your way. Of course, you don't have to play as a linebacker. Much like the offensive line, you can choose to play as an OLB, as a linebacker. You could even choose to just, you know, watch the receivers the entire time and not really do much of anything. But right now we're going to jump into the defense so you guys get a look at that. So, if you want to be a true tactician, you can go ahead and pick your play type and formation, or to keep things simple, you can just go ahead and ask the coach. We also have an injured player on the field under Johnson. Unfortunately, we don't have anybody to replace Johnson. In fact, that entire OLB line has been injured in previous games, and part of the season mode is actually deciding what facilities you're going to purchase with the money you're given, or in this case, the points you're given. One of those facilities, or several of those facilities, are medical facilities that are going to deal with your injuries, and that does become an issue in-game. But again, much like a Madden game or anything in between, there is absolutely, as you can see there, a defensive aspect. We nearly got the sack, we just barely missed it, but that's how quick and how close things can come in this game. And in fact, on my Twitch channel where I stream this game mostly, you know, I think we've already streamed 20 or 30 times there. You know, that's something that people are really surprised by, is just how back and forth this game can be, just how many opportunities there are to have a nice game there. Sorry about that. Bullet really hates the Buffalo Bills. I don't understand it. He's a Jets fan. It's tragic. In any case, friends, you can sort of see how the plays are set up, how defense works, and like I said, there's interceptions, there's fumbles, there's all that fun stuff. There are buttons to press so that you can go for a grab on a pass like this. I guess the only thing I could say that's maybe a negative, maybe not even really a negative, is there is no pass interference. But you typically can't smash into an enemy player during a pass. You can, however, try to deflect the ball before he gets the pass. Here we go. Yeah! Oh, laid him out on the ground. This game is just great. Now, for those of you wondering about multiplayer, the game does have remote play. It also has, like, split screen, so obviously if you've got a friend over, then you can, of course, plays, etc. But the good thing is during audibles, you can change that play. So even if I see your playbook, again, you can change that play. And I wanted to just clarify, you know, how in-depth the season of this game is. I mean, you can see here we have, of course, season leaders. We've got most valuable players in the season, etc. And we can even go through our own line and just see the kind of passing yards, the amount of yardage, the amount of touchdowns that each player has made during the season. And indeed, over time, they will evolve. So as you play through, you might actually have, you know, a quarterback like Allen become an absolute all-star if you are able to direct him correctly. There's also just good old-fashioned scheduling, which lets you know when you're going to play the next game, your current playoff standings in each division, etc., which I think is just absolutely wonderful. But over here, this is something that I think doesn't get a lot of attention, but is such a huge part of the game, and that is the newspaper aspect. So you get these like newspaper clippings that let you know what's going on with individual players, with individual teams, and of course games, and it's just such a nice touch. I can't explain it except I guess the correct word would be immersion. It adds a little bit of immersion that connects you even more with your team. Of course, we've got good old-fashioned injuries in this game. Everything from a bruised kidney to a collapsed lung, as you can see. And in fact, I've had some guys with broken legs that are off even longer. There is a degree of blood in the game, but I wouldn't say that there is a great degree of, how could I put it? You can't really tell what injury is what until it actually pops up on the screen. The animation is pretty much the same. The guy goes down, he stays on the floor, and of course, you know, the injury occurs. Overall, guys, I could just say so many positive things about Legend Bowl. This is an absolutely phenomenal game. Even if you've never played an American football game in your life, I would highly, highly recommend you take a look at this one. The only thing that I'm really hoping for this game is that the multiplayer system is developed. Again, if you've been playing Madden or anything like that, EA Sports games, you're absolutely going to appreciate this. Just give it a chance, guys. I know that sometimes, aesthetically, for a lot of you, it may not be much to look at, but when you get down to pure gameplay, this is so far superior to any Madden or EA game you're going to play that you're going to be really, really surprised. Again, aside from just the basic gameplay aspect, there is a strategic aspect unmatched by a lot of games these days. Hey, that was a double sack right there. That was not cool, although it was a great way to end the video. If you enjoyed this video, I really would appreciate a like, comment, and subscribe. Again, we rarely, if ever, do sports games on this channel, but I really felt that this game is so special that it deserves an absolute exception to that rule. I hope you guys understand. I thank you guys for stopping by, and I hope you have a better passing QB than I do.